Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome in for the season finale here, Season 22, Tier 4 of WOR. We have got a title showdown here tonight. Unfortunately, I am alone here tonight though. No one here alongside me in the commentary box. But yeah, gonna be an interesting one. Titles will be decided tonight. I believe the Constructors is already wrapped up due to the attendance, which unfortunately has been a little bit poor, but we can have a look at our Drivers' Championship. 3 drivers theoretically in contention, although I don't think Leonard is going to be showing up here tonight, unfortunately. Would have been very exciting having 3 drivers separated by 4 points, but it is Nico Rassenberg who leads, and crucially for him as well, has 2 wins to his name, more than Tom 97, so if they finish level on points, he will come home with the title. Definitely going to be something playing on his mind throughout this race. Tom 97, only 4 points behind though, 105 to 109. So if one of the 2 drivers does win, they will take the championship again, no matter what. Nothing could stop them even if they finished in P2. Further behind, it is quite close as well, although there is a very, very big gap of almost 70 points to the next car. But 41, 40, 36, 30, 32, 31. 10 points covering quite a lot of drivers there. Things definitely looking very close in the midfield, although not many of those drivers will be racing tonight. As for our Constructors' Championship, as it stands, Red Bull and Ferrari both currently level on points. Both of them, I think, with 1 driver racing tonight as well. So in with a decent chance to try and pick up some points here. McLaren, I believe, as it stands, have got it sealed unless we see a very late joiner with a second Red Bull or Ferrari, but I don't expect that's going to be happening. We are here in Sao Paulo though, and in fact we will jump over to the track now, and we have got, when it does finally bring the picture in, our championship leader making his way through the final few corners, getting himself ready for his first qualifying lap here in what could be a championship deciding race. Nico Rassenberg, Tom 97, both going at it for the season 22 Tier 4 title. And here we go now for the first lap of qualifying, making his way in towards the center S's. Late on the brakes, getting right up against the grass on the entry, making sure you don't hit it though, that will compromise your line. As you now make your way through the Curve de Sol on towards the Retropost, the DRS opening up for the McLaren driver. And I'm just looking there, his battery was off. I don't think, based on that sector time, that Rassenberg is on a push lap just yet. We'll keep an eye on, in fact, definitely not. Invasizo just behind, gone a couple seconds faster in the first sector with a 69. Rassenberg getting out the way there, letting him through. So it looks like it's going to be a double out lap for Nico Rassenberg, trying to burn off some of the fuel here. I expect he's only got 3 sets of the soft tyres available anyway, opting for the balanced or harder allocation, giving himself the better opportunities throughout the race. And therefore he has the time to burn, given that this is such a short lap. Probably looking at 1 minute 6 lap times around here tonight. Invasizo now through the middle sector split. Of course, Purple in the first 2 sectors, as he's the first one to make his way through. But a couple more cars out there who could be contending. Making his way now towards the line. Invasizo, let's see what the time's going to be. It's going to be a 106.730 to kick things off here in qualifying. AMS Josh, the next driver to come across the line, he sets a 107.1, only a couple tenths off the back of the current fastest time. We've got Vettel now making his way up the hill towards the start-finish line. Rassenberg, I expect, now starting his lap as well. Vettel across the line sets a 7.2 to put himself third fastest. We've got Tom 97, championship contender, currently third in the championship, making his way up to start his lap as well. We've got Rassenberg, Garcia and Fischer all out there on laps. We'll have a look and see. Fischer has unfortunately invalidated. Garcia on the run up the hill towards the line now. DRS open up, burning all the remaining energy available. So that's a 106.747, 17 thousandths off the back of Invasizo, getting very, very close there. Let's jump back over, see how Rassenberg is getting on. A couple seconds up on his time, as we would expect. Through that first sector, going to be finding even more in this middle sector where he had to back off and let a couple cars through. 15 seconds up now on his 1 minute 23, so getting closer to that time. Let's see where this lap is going to put him as he makes the run up towards the line. Not gone purple in any of the sectors. A couple tenths off in sector 1, a tenth off in sector 2, coming across the line now, and he is about 3/10 of a second off by the end of the lap. Third fastest though for Nico Rassenberg. Decent benchmarker lap there for him. We'll jump over to Tom 97 now, who's not too far off the pace of Rassenberg. In fact, going a tenth of a second faster in that middle sector, might be able to try and find a position ahead of Rassenberg here as he runs up towards the line now. Let's see what Tom 97 can put on the board. Coming across the line now, and it's a 107.036, and that is a small margin, but a crucial margin, 9 thousandths of a second ahead of the McLaren of Rassenberg. We've got Myth in the other McLaren making his way up and across the line now, and he goes to 5th fast with a 7.069. 3 drivers are very, very close together there. In fact, ignoring the big jump between 2nd and 3rd, those top 5 all very small margins, 17 thousandths between 1st and 2nd, and then only about 300ths between 3rd and 5th as well. So that's the first set of laps done here in qualifying. We've got 12 minutes left on the clock, and Invasizo, provisional pole sitter, now making his way out to get his second run underway as the rest of them make their way back to the pits and just get themselves ready for their first laps in qualifying. So let's see what Invasizo can do. Purple in sector 1, losing a couple thousandths of a second in sector 2 and 3 to the purple times. But that first sector, crucial time made on Victor Garcia, which allows him to have the fastest time at the moment. Running in that pink V-carb livery, he'll be hoping that can give him some extra speed, maybe play a bit of distraction games for his rivals while he's racing. You never know what could come as a result of that. We've seen stranger things before here in WOR, but through the final corner, And hopefully this will be a push lap and not going to be another warm-up lap like we saw with Nico Rassenberg on that first run. Although with so much time left in the session, unless he is planning to do 4 runs here, that very well could be the case. But the battery does come on here. So let's see what Invisizo can do as he makes his way through. And we have got Kevin West, I think, rejoining the session. Maybe having a couple of connection issues as we make our way through. A couple more cars coming out onto the track now as well. We've got Vettel making his way out, and also one of the Haas cars. That will be Josh through the first sector. Invisizo is down on his time, so aborting this one, maybe a poor turn 1, and as a result, will be going again in just about a minute's time, I expect. Rassenberg also now heading out onto the track. Needs to try and find some time here, because although it is possible to overtake on this game, if you're stuck in a DRS train, it makes it that bit harder, and you don't want to have to rely on a bold strategy call to try and make those positions up. And especially with how close this grid is looking, I mean, if quite a few drivers find a couple tenths, you could very quickly find yourself dropping several positions here. So going to be very, very important that these drivers can put their laps together when they need it and find those positions come the end of the qualifying session. Victor Garcia now out onto the track, as is Ken Fisher as well, as Invisizo down towards the CNRS as we go. DRS opens up and onto the brakes, get the car turned in nicely onto the power now, pushing the car right the way through the curve of the soul, taking the curb, helping to rotate the car, open up the DRS, and burning the battery now down as we head towards turn number 4. He's marginally down to that first sector. That's where he had the advantage, but still faster than Victor Garcia was on his previous attempt, making his way up the hill towards Ferradura now. Might catch a bit of dirty air off the back of the Haas, but they get out the way very nicely. Turning in towards the heart of the middle sector, and it's an invalidation for Invisizo. Not going to be able to set a time here. So we'll jump over to the Aston Martin of Vettel, making his way in towards Bico Tapato. Let's see how this one goes for the Aston Martin. Can he find some improvement through the middle sector? He's 0.2 of a second up, looking to get himself right in contention, maybe for the second row of the grid, if he can hold on to this through the final sector. Has he burnt a bit too much battery early on in this lap? We'll have to wait and see as he comes across the line. Now it's going to be a 107.004, and it just does jump him up to third fastest. Nice lap there from Vettel, finding a couple positions, and that is going to help him out if he can maintain that. We'll jump over to Josh. He is a long, long way down on his time. He won't be improving. We've got Nico Rassenberg out there as well. Purple in the middle sector, a strong first sector as well. This could be a lap to jump him up towards the front of the field. Let's see as he comes across the line. Currently in 5th, now up to 1st. Championship leader takes provisional pole position by 15 thousandths of a second. Puts himself right up to the front. What can Invisizo and Victor Garcia do in response? Victor Garcia is already a 1/10 of a second up, looking to try and bounce back and take that position back as well. He's now gone purple in the middle sector and faster than Rassenberg in the first as well. Comes across the line now. What's the time? It's a 0.706, taking it by a couple thousandths of a second. Puts himself that little bit further ahead, 9 thousandths now between Garcia and Rassenberg up at the front of the field. More drivers still out there on laps as well. We'll have a look. Vettel coming back to the pit lane. Got the Mercedes of Kevin West making his way around as well. This will be his first time on the board. Might not be fully representative of his pace as he just adjusts into the session. It's a 7.3 for him. We'll jump over to Ken Fisher, who comes across the line to go 4th fastest with a 6.975. Decent time to put himself onto the second row of the grid. Tom 97 now shaping up to start his next flying lap. We've got Myth as well, marginally up through the first sector. Let's see how this lap is going to go for the Ferrari driver. Is he pushing? And he spins out of the second turn, and that is him into the barriers. That is a crucial mistake for Tom 97. It's going to cost him a lap here in qualifying, and now puts himself at quite a disadvantage, 0.3 away from his rival, and many positions as well. Front row versus third row of the grid, 2nd versus 6th. That is a devastating mistake there for Tom 97. Myth now down through the middle sector as well. Is he going to be able to claw it back through this final sector, or will he abandon this one to the pit lane? He is going to call it quits on this lap then. So no improvement going to come his way, and I think that means everybody now making their way back to the pits. But Tom 97, a crucial mistake potentially in this qualifying session. He's going to have to leave it late, right till that final lap, if he wants to try and get something on the board. Tried to push it hard, but unfortunately didn't quite work out for the Ferrari driver. We'll have to wait and see if he can recover this one. In the final 6 minutes of qualifying, I don't think we're going to be seeing much activity out on the track for the next few minutes. But yeah, a very crucial moment there. Unfortunate stuff for Tom 97 to pick up that damage as he spun out of turn 2. That lap gone. And now we wait. 5 minutes left to go of qualifying to decide the final grid of WOR Tier 4 Season 22, with Rasenberg currently sitting in second, 9 thousandths off a provisional pole. Tom 97 quite a way behind, all to play for in this final run. And we have got Kevin West heading out a bit earlier than the rest, maybe looking to try and get an extra bit of track knowledge in after his disconnect earlier on. He currently only has 1 lap time on the board. So let's see if he can find any improvement, get himself out of that P9 position here tonight. Going to be pretty much a clear track, I think, for him. I don't expect we're going to be seeing any of the other drivers heading out on track for at least another minute or so, which should mean he'll be able to get himself round to start his lap or start another preparation lap, although we have got, as I've said, that the Haas of, I believe, Ken Fisher. Yes, it is Ken Fisher making his way out of the pit lane as well, so making his way out of the pits about 4 minutes and 20 seconds. Still quite early to be heading out for your final runs, so I expect there might be some shenanigans at play here potentially. So let's see then. Kevin West making his way up the hill now. Is this going to be for a push lap or ride on board? And have a listen. I mean, for now, it sounds like he's pushing, but we'll see as we make our way in towards turn 1 how this lap is going. Hitting the brakes nice and late. Really tough to pick your brake marker there. Doesn't look like too bad of a first few corners, though, for the Mercedes driver. DRS opens up now as we run down towards turn 4, and let's look at that sector 1 split. He's a 10th up through that first sector. Nice job there from Kevin West, finding the time. More cars heading out onto the track. You've got Rasenberg out on track now as well, I think, going for another double outlap. Seems to be something he really enjoys doing. Save that little bit of time by burning off some extra fuel. Try and get those tyres up to temperature as well. In towards Bico de Pato now for Kevin West. A little bit wide, I think, on the exit there. Maybe a bit of a snap as well. Might not have helped his pace here through the middle sector, though. He is now 0.3 of a second up. If he can hold on to this, could be looking to find some positions, but not great on the exit of the final corner, and that might be what costs him here, unfortunately. We'll keep an eye on the Mercedes driver. He is bailing to the pit lane, hoping to get one final run in. Let's head over to Ken Fisher, who is actually still warming up, and I expect we're going to be seeing the same thing if we look over towards Rasenberg. I mean, we never know. He might be going for a very early push lap, but he's going to have some traffic to face if that is the case. So I expect we're going to be seeing a couple seconds off the pace or so in this first sector. You never know, though. Maybe he's going to give it everything on this first one to see if he can put an amazing lap together. He's not too far off with that first sector, only 26 thousandths. But it's not ideal, and that battery is now switched off. So backing off for Rasenberg, preparing for that final run in this qualifying session. 2 minutes left to go. Still time for drivers to give themselves another preparation lap. Is that what we're going to see here from AMS Josh as he gets ready to put his final lap together? Coming up towards the line. The battery does not turn on, so I expect, again, another preparation lap. What about Invasizo in the V-Cub? Currently sitting third fastest, less than 300ths of a second off of provisional pole position. Let's see if he can try and challenge here on this final run. Kevin West still in the pit lane. I think he's just making his way out. Might have enough time to get another lap on the board here. Might be able to get himself out of that P9 position. Invasizo down towards the Sector 1 split. Marginally down on this lap. He does have enough time to go for one more if he really wants to. And I think, based on that battery, I think that is exactly what's going to happen. Rasenberg now making his way up the hill, getting ready for these final runs. Victor Garcia also on his final lap of qualifying as well, as the timer is ticking down. The drivers really got to make sure these laps count. I think Ken Fisher also on a push lap at the moment, but not improving through that first sector, not been the greatest of runs. Let's keep an eye out here now as we watch the drivers make their way through. Victor Garcia on provisional pole position has invalidated his lap. He won't be improving. This is a really great opportunity for Nico Rasenberg, but he is down through the first sector. Not what he would have wanted to see. He's going to continue pushing though as we make our way through. Lots of traffic in that final sector as all the drivers starting to queue up, getting themselves ready for their final runs. Tom 97 included in that. 25 seconds left to go as the time is ticking down. Ken Fisher, 6.9. I think that was all he was able to manage. P4 on the grid at the moment and has now retired from the session. Rasenberg coming up to the middle sector split. Has he managed to find some time here in the middle sector? Comes across the split. He is up, and that is a purple middle sector. 33.7. Can he hold this one to the line? Is it going to be pole position? The checkered flag has come out. Garcia has managed to get across the line, maybe to start another lap here. Rasenberg, though, across the line. He does it. He takes the pole position here, unless anybody behind can try and challenge, but as it stands, he has put it to the top. He's done everything he needs to, but what can the drivers behind do to try and thwart his attempts? Myth up on his time through the first sector. He's down through the middle sector, not improving. That's not what he wants to see out there. AMS Josh, the next car behind him, also making his way through, up through the first sector, waiting to see. He is also up in the middle sector, but I don't think we're going to see a big improvement here from Myth. If we do see any, no. Stays in 7th fastest. AMS Josh coming up towards the line, and then we have Invasizo, and then Tom 97. What can these guys do? AMS Josh up to 4th. Championship contender Tom 97 down through the first two sectors. Is he going to improve out there? He only marginally improves. He stays P7. That is devastating news. Invasizo to the front row of the grid, misses out on pole position by 100th of a second. Can Victor Garcia snatch it? At the last moment, comes across the line, and he does it. He takes pole position right in the dying stages. Victor Garcia invalidated what we thought would be his final lap. He had just a few seconds to make it to the line, and by 31 thousandths of a second, Victor Garcia takes pole position in your season finale. Rasenberg in 7th. Crucially though, Tom 97, best he could manage was P7. That is going to be a devastating blow. He needs to outscore Nico Rasenberg by 4 points, and as it stands, he will only be scoring a total of 6 points if he were to stay there. Really, really not a great start to this finale for the Ferrari driver. Victor Garcia takes pole position. Nico Rasenberg in 2nd. Invasizo in 3rd. AMS Josh in 4th. 5th for Ken Fisher. Strong showing by the Haas team. Vettel in 6th. Tom 97 in 7th. Myth in 8th. And then Kevin West in P9. The grid is set for our season finale tonight. And we have rain forecast. This is going to spice things up as well. Rain for the finale. Maybe the drivers running wet setups. Maybe that's why we saw some of the drivers struggling a little bit to find their feet in qualifying. Really going to spice things up. We've got 2 minutes until we'll be getting things going. And going to be very, very interesting to see how everything plays out here. We'll have a quick look once again at our drivers' standings. Tom 97, 4 points behind Nico Rasenberg, who currently leads the way. It's going to be a tough race ahead, and then the weather is not going to make it easier to overtake, but maybe something can be pulled off with the strategy. Maybe we're going to see some changing conditions, which could really, really spice things up. I think the last time I remember seeing wet weather as well, Tom 97 had a very strong showing, and all of his championship rivals ended up outside of the points. So things going to be very, very interesting here tonight. And just for confirmation, McLaren, I think I've just pressed the wrong button there. We should be all right, yeah. McLaren have definitely sealed the Constructors' Championship now. Great job to them. 142 points so far. They're going to be looking to extend that to maybe a potential 187 maximum points, sorry, I think. I'm not sure if we have a fastest lap point. That's probably something I should have known. I did double check we don't have points for pole position. Hopefully that doesn't come into play, because that would be a bit confusing. I don't think there's a scenario. No, there definitely is a scenario where that could come into play. Well, we'll have a quick look while we get things going. But we should be getting underway pretty soon. I'm going to quickly try and find the rulebook. And I should probably switch back over to the game as well. Going to be a very, very interesting race. Fastest lap, let's see. No championship points are awarded for fastest lap. There we go. Nice and simple. Let's see then. Season finale. Should be counting things down very, very soon now. I believe going to be heading down to the grid in just a few seconds. Victor Garcia on pole position. Rasenberg starting alongside. We've got wet weather to spice things up in Sao Paulo. The greatest stage for a season finale, but Rasenberg second, Tom 97 seventh. What can they manage here tonight? Who is going to come out strongest? Can Rasenberg make it work? Can Tom 97 fight back? All to come very, very soon. And now, just waiting, I think, any second now. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we should be headed towards the grid. It's a short run down towards turn one. What can the drivers do here tonight? The 5 lights are on ahead of the drivers, and we are racing here in Sao Paulo for your season finale. A decent start there from Rasenberg, and he's already up into the lead of this race. Victor Garcia, not the greatest of launches. Here comes Infosizzo around the outside with 3 wide as we make our way in towards turn 2. AMS Josh looking to find his way around the outside, but it's not working. Crucially, Tom 97 able to make some positions here as we make our way through turn 3, but Rasenberg flying away at the start. He's already a second clear up at the front of the field. Down towards turn number 4 we go. Looking to the inside there. Victor Garcia trying to defend Tom 97 around the outside of AMS Josh. Can't quite make that one work. The two Hasses now run side by side as we run up the hill towards Ferragura, the McLaren there of Myth. Not the greatest of launches for him either. Running a little bit wide through turn number 5, but Rasenberg already 1 second clear. Kevin West going off the track as they make their way up the hill as well. Here comes Tom 97 down the inside on Ken Fisher, looking to try and make this move work. Now to the outside as they make their way through turn 9 up the hill on the acceleration. Who has the better traction? Tom 97 with the inside line. Can he make this one stick finally? Still running side by side with Ken Fisher, but pulls himself ahead up into P5. 2 positions gained already on this opening lap, but the crucial thing for Nico Rasenberg, he's already pulled a second to Infosizzo, who's already pulled 1.3 to Victor Garcia. Our top 3 flying away at the start of this race. And the gap's already very, very big. Rasenberg is going to be absolutely loving this as we make our way to start the second lap down in towards turn number 3. Here comes Vettel down the inside, having a look on Ken Fisher. Is he going to be close enough to try and make a switch back potentially here? Get on the power and run down towards turn number 4, getting a bit slidey as he tries to wind the power on though. Tom 97 looking to apply some pressure. Victor Garcia also maybe going to come under pressure if Josh tries to defend here, and he's looking to the inside, I think, of the Red Bull car, who goes off the track, and now Josh with the better traction up the run up the hill finds his way through into the podium positions, but the gap's just extending. We're already over 3 seconds off the back of our race leader here, just in 1 and a bit laps of battery. Here comes Tom 97 down the inside. He knows he needs to make these moves nice and early if he wants a way through to fight for the victory and potentially the championship as well. With a better traction on the exit in towards turn 10, he finds his way through up into 4th place now, and Garcia under pressure from Fisher as well, and now Vettel looking to put pressure on as well around the outside as we make our way through Magulio with the better traction. Vettel is through up into 6th. Ken Fisher losing out on a couple positions here on this lap, and it's really not been a great lap at all for him. Garcia seems to be struggling as well. He's already dropped almost a second to Tom 97 as we make our way through lap 3 we start now, but look at the gaps up at the front of the field. Tom 97, nearly 5 seconds already off the back of our race leader, and Vettel down the inside on Victor Garcia, now to the outside as they make their way through 2, switches back to the inside for 3. Who has the better run? On towards the Retro Aposta. Looks like Vettel will get that position, and Fisher looking to try and apply some pressure as well, down towards turn 4. Vettel having to defend though from the Red Bull car, not fully done and dusted just yet, but he's now through up into 5th place, that position secured. Garcia and Fisher going to continue their battles on as well as we make our way through this race. Of course, I think we are actually going to be seeing some drying as well of this weather, so maybe some drivers opting for a slightly different direction with the setup. Garcia almost getting tagged around there by the Haas, who now loses the position to Myth as they make their way through 9 up towards Pico de Pato. Ken Fisher fighting back and gets that position back once again, back up into P7. Myth, though, with better traction on the exit, going for a slightly alternative line. Helps himself to stay close to the back of that Haas car as we make our way towards the end of lap 4. The cars behind Rasenberg now starting to close in a little bit, and that is going to be very, very crucial for their race. AMS Josh with the fastest lap of the race as he continues his charge to close in not just on Rasenberg but also in Vasizo in the fight for P2. That gap gonna continue to come down. Tom 97 looking to close in as well, but the gap to Rasenberg, between Rasenberg and Tom 97 has stayed pretty constant throughout these past few laps. Seems as though everybody pretty equally matched on pace in those top 4 positions. Let's see now as we make our way through. Ken Fisher a little bit too far back off the back of Garcia to try anything just yet, but he is still going to be hungry to try and make that move, try and find his way up into the top 6 positions. Championship not really on the line for any of these guys. They are purely fighting for glory in this race here tonight. And already those gaps quite wide up at the front of the field. Everybody just settling into their rhythm. Strategy gonna spice things up for sure once we get towards it later on in the race. Myth close on the exit here of the final corner, looking to gain as Rasenberg now sets the fastest lap of the race. But everybody behind pretty evenly matched, only a 10th or so off the pace that Rasenberg managed to set on that lap. Myth not able to get close enough for an overtake here. Fisher looking to close in on Garcia once again in the braking zone, but losing out a bit on the exit, continuing to push here. Myth maybe going to try something once again, although he's a little bit too far back, I think. 0.2 of a second, no DRS to aid them, of course, in these wet conditions. So purely going to have to rely on your own power from the car, and maybe a mistake from the car in front if you want to try and make an overtake in these conditions at the moment. Everybody just holding position for now. Not been too many overtaking opportunities really, as the dirty air not going to be helping them if they want to stay close. As we get back onto the power now in towards turn 10, still quite a lot. There's sliding there and there round Ken Fisher, almost losing the car in contact there with Myth as well. Very, very fortunate there for the Haas driver not to have completely lost the car. That very easily could have turned into a disaster for Ken Fisher. Fortunately, holding not only the car, but his position as well. Myth not able to find a way through as Rasenberg once again sets the fastest lap of the race, extending his margin over Invasizo. AMS Josh is starting to close in though. And in fact, with the fastest lap of the race himself in 18.2, that is quite considerably faster than the times we've seen from Rasenberg on that previous lap. He is really finding some strong pace. Tom 97 pretty much matching Rasenberg on that lap as well. That gap fluctuating pretty much around 5 seconds at the moment. AMS Josh, as it stands, seems to be the fastest driver in these conditions. But if we have a look on board with the drivers right now, it has actually stopped raining. There is no more rain coming down, so it's going to be a very interesting next few laps. That's why we're seeing such big drops in the pace. And I think this really gonna... I mean, if you're strong in this specific scenario, transitioning from intermediates on a slick track, you could be on to gain a huge chunk of time and positions And the transition over to the slick tyre as well, going to be a really difficult one as Garcia getting out of shape. Fisher up the inside, now to the outside as they make their way through Magulio. This could be a chance for him to take that P6 position as they make their way onto the brace in towards the final corner, almost onto the grass there for the Haas driver through the final corner. Now still running side by side, but Fisher losing out and might give Myth a chance now as they run up the hill as well in towards the start of lap 7. No moves coming here, unfortunately, but fastest lap still coming in. Lap times improving considerably and down towards turn 1 we go. Ken Fisher looking to the inside of Garcia in towards the center S. It has the inside line. So we'll switch to the outside for turn 2, but then he'll have the inside as they make their way through turn 3, and he dances his way through up into P6, finding that position now. And we are going to start to head towards some very critical laps. Make that transition 1 lap too early and you could lose seconds a lap. Make it on the perfect lap and you could be making a big jump on your rivals here tonight. Garcia seeming to struggle. The tyres are going to be screaming out for help. They're going to be overheating like crazy in these effectively dry conditions now. The car is going to be sliding around, as you can see. Ken Fisher going extremely wide there through turn number 7. And I don't think it's going to be too much longer at all before we see a pit stop. Nico Rassenberg, our race leader at the moment, still continuing on up at the front of the field. 1.8 seconds clear. That gap to the cars behind hasn't really been changing too much recently. In fact, I think a lot of them starting to close in a little bit. Let's see. Is he going to come into the pits this time around? What is he going to do? Going to continue on out on the track, keeping an eye on the rest of the drivers. Anybody going to be bold? Tom 97 into the pit lane, going for a big gamble here. Can he try and make this undercut work? Try and give himself a chance to break that 5-second margin and bring himself back into contention. It's hard compound tyres, maybe trying to go to the end, and everybody behind into the pits, following Tom 97 as well. Now this is going to be interesting. Sorry, Victor Garcia has stayed out. 3 drivers up at the front, plus Victor Garcia out on the track on intermediate tyres still. Everybody coming in for a set of the hard compound tyres now. Let's see if they can try and make this one work. It's going to be absolutely crucial, this middle sector split, to see if these drivers can gain time on the intermediate runners and maybe gain some positions as well. It's going to take quite significant changeover though if we are going to see any positions gained from Tom 97. He's going to be quite tentative in these opening laps, doesn't want to throw the championship away over maybe a 10th or so through the corners, but let's see. He is looking pretty confident, I think, as he made his way through the uphill there. We'll head over to Rassenberg, Invasizo and AMS Josh, who I expect are all going to be diving to the pit lane now, as DRS probably going to be enabled any second now. Into the pit lane comes Rassenberg, cutting it very tight with those white lines, gets the car slowed down nicely, no risks of a speeding penalty. Tom 97, we're waiting to see his middle sector split. It was 40.2 for the drivers who stayed out. It's 40.5 for Tom 97. He hasn't really gained any time through that middle sector, but maybe as the track continues to drive through this final sector, he can try and find something. Garcia also into the pits, everybody making this transition. And this going to be the crucial set of corners as he makes his way through the center S's now, as he tries to find the grip, tries to find the time. Can he try and get himself into contention here? Making his way through the curve of the Sol. He's going to still be a little bit of a way behind, but he will crucially have closed that gap by a couple of tenths. Gets himself closer to the back of AMS Josh and Invasizo. His tyres will be up to temperature as well. That is going to be very valuable for Tom 97. He's already gained a couple tenths as he makes his way in towards the middle sector, trying to close in on AMS Josh ahead. This is going to be a crucial lap here for Tom 97. The gap to Rassenberg, 4.5 seconds at the moment. Not close enough for anything ready to come into play just yet. Tom 97 now 1.3 off of AMS Josh, continuing to push on here, trying to gain time on the cars in front in the hopes that DRS should be enabled very soon, maybe even in time for a dose on this lap. But I don't think he'll be in the DRS zone just yet. Purple middle sector for Tom 97, half a second faster than Rassenberg, finding time on the cars in front as well as we continue on up the hill. No DRS just yet, but Tom 97 1 second now off the back of AMS Josh. He's brought the gap down on Rassenberg by a second, and it's the fastest lap of the race for Tom 97 at 15.4. Those times going to continue to tumble as the drivers continue to bed themselves in. Still no DRS just yet, I believe at least. We'll keep an eye on those rear wings of the drivers. Never mind, we have got DRS enabled. I missed that one. Tom 97 is in the DRS of AMS Josh as well. That is going to be helping him out as we close in on these gaps. Tyres up to temperature. That temperature going to be so important for the grip. Tom 97 fastest in the first sector. Once again, still showing he has the pace. And that gap continuing to come down. Now down to 3.8 seconds between Tom 97 and Nico Rasenberg. Going to be a crucial margin to keep an eye on. Tom 97 losing a bit of time in this middle sector, though not been the greatest of laps from him. As we now make our way through Magulio here. Let's see. Yeah, not been the greatest. Lost a couple tenths to all the cars in front of him, unfortunately. And actually, Vettel behind, going even faster than the rest. So, yeah, still showing that track is still improving as Rasenberg 14.3, fastest lap. 14.1, 13.9 from AMS Josh. The times continuing to come down, and that is going to be a crucial moment for Josh as well, as he really embeds himself into that DRS now. 0.8 of a second off the back of Invasiso, going to continue to close in now on that pink liveried V-Carb ahead of him and get himself ready for a battle for the second place position, or maybe even first, because they're continuing to catch up to the back of Nico Rasenberg as well. It's going to be a very interesting fight as we make our way through. It's not going to be over until we reach that checkered flag. Still time for things to change, of course. We could see a mistake potentially. You never know what that could do. Could bring out a safety car, could take one of our contenders out of contention as Myth in the McLaren picks up a 3-second time penalty. Just pushing that a little bit too hard as he made his way in towards turn 8. Cut the corner and picked up a penalty as a result. Only a third of the way through this race as well. Still such a long way to go for all of these drivers, and Tom 97 is in the DRS, I think. No, just missing out, I think, unfortunately, on the 1 second margin there, but he sets the fastest lap of the race and considerably faster than all the cars in front of him as well. Continuing to close in, and Invasiso with a 3-second time penalty. That is going to be costly for the V-Carb driver, as well as Ken Fisher now finds his way through ahead of Myth up into P6. Victor Garcia also with a time penalty to his name. Really unfortunate stuff. Things can change so quickly. And around a track like Brazil, where you are pushing so hard, you naturally fall right towards those white lines. It can be a bit deceptive as well. If you look at the edge of the curb, there is a bit of a gap between the curb and the white line. If you aim for the curb, sometimes you're going to slot yourself into that gap and then end up with a warning, even though it doesn't really feel like you're all the way over. But yeah, unfortunate stuff for those drivers. Invasiso, Victor Garcia and Myth, all with time penalties. 3 seconds to their name. Nobody picking up a speeding penalty, fortunately. But AMS Josh and Tom 97 both in the DRS now. Rasenberg with the fastest lap, but I expect we're going to see fastest laps from the cars behind as well. AMS Josh, 1:11.1 now. We're heading towards those dry times, pretty much completely dry at this point. You can start to see the sun coming out as well as Ken Fisher takes the fastest lap with an 11.0. No point, though, for that fastest lap. That's the crucial thing to remember. And now it's going to be a bit more interesting. AMS Josh only 0.4 of a second off the back of Invasiso. Tom 97 not too far off as well. Invasiso doesn't really have too much to race for with that 3-second time penalty. Of course, he'll continue to push on, but there'll probably be a drop in the motivation, I guess, from the V-Carb driver. Naturally, as he's effectively taken himself out of contention for the podium at the moment. And then it's going to naturally knock the confidence and maybe going to give Rasenberg an advantage to help himself pull away. I think it's going to be a crucial moment. For the likes of Josh and Tom 97, they're going to have to make these moves pretty soon if they want to try and keep themselves in contention. We've already lost, I think, a 10th on this lap to Nico Rasenberg through that middle sector. As Rasenberg setting the fastest lap of the race. Tom 97 goes even faster, though. He's closing in. He's got himself well and truly embedded into that DRS now. And I guess it's just a question of how much time it can be found. How many positions can be gained. It's going to be tricky, of course, in the traffic, in the dirty air. As you can see, Josh not able to get close enough heading in towards turn 4. that time around. He won't be too eager to give up that DRS either. He'll be quite happy sitting behind the V-Carb driver who has that time penalty, although Indeciso losing a lot of time here. Lost about half a second now to Nico Rasenberg just since the start of this lap. Maybe starting to struggle a bit already. I mean, we're only on these tyres for about 5 laps. I wouldn't expect we're seeing too much tyre wear out there. Maybe starting to manage his tyres a bit for later on in the race as well. You never know what's going to be going through a driver's mind. You can still see the McLaren though up ahead. That's going to be nice motivation. I think Rasenberg making a bit of a mistake through that final corner. Lost himself a couple of tenths. 0.6 of a second off the back of Indeciso. Not going to be close enough this time around, unfortunately. For an overtake though, Tom 97 once again fastest lap of the race, but pretty much equally matched with all the others around him. As we continue on through, Victor Garcia setting the fastest lap now. Unfortunate stuff for a pole sitter as well, from first all the way down to 7th. Tom 97 getting close to the back of AMS Josh. Maybe wanting to start to get a bit of a move on here. He can see his championship rival up ahead. He knows he's only got a finite number of laps. We're almost making our way towards half race distance. At a certain point, he's just got to bite the bullet and making a bit of a lunge to the inside, heading in towards turn number 8 there. Starting to get a bit bold on the brakes, trying to get himself right in the mirrors of AMS Josh, maybe scare him into a mistake, and hope that he can find his way through up into P3 and start to set his sights after the lead of this train. Maybe give himself an opportunity to fight for victory, fight with Rasenberg here tonight. Couple more tenths found, not a great middle sector for Nico Rasenberg this time around. Losing almost 0.4 of a second to Indeciso that time around. Not quite close enough for an overtake this time around. 0.2 of a second back for Tom 97 as we make our way through the first corner now. Might do a similar sort of thing to the previous lap, size himself up for a move down in towards turn 4. Already the battery off for AMS Josh. Has been a move further back. Garcia through up into 6th place, and their contact with Tom 97 and AMS Josh as he looked to try and find his way around the outside. Unfortunately not working out for Tom 97 in the Ferrari. He'll feel he was squeezed off there. Feel he wasn't given the space he was deserving of, and probably going to frustrate the Ferrari driver quite a lot with that one. But he'll continue to push on, continue to size himself up for these next few laps. In towards Bico de Pato now. A little bit further back than he would like to be, Tom 97. Quite a bit further back than he was on previous occasions. He'll be having to recharge that battery as well after the push on the previous lap. Vettel under pressure now from Garcia, and has, as a result, picked up a 3-second time penalty further behind. He was quite a way clear, but has dropped back in the past few laps. As it stands, things looking pretty alright for Tom 97, but not perfect. He'll definitely be wanting to make a position here, faking to move to the inside there on Josh once again. He'll definitely be starting to get a bit frustrated, stuck behind the Haas driver, and looking to find a way to fight his way through. He's right on the back here as we make our way through Ferragil. Will he look to the inside in towards turn 8? Tom 97 trying to go late on the brakes, trying to find his way through up into the podium positions. Not quite able to make that one work, but he is ready to make big moves here in the championship decider. AMS Josh a bit of a way now off the back of Indeciso. Tom 97 dropping further back though as we make our way through Magulio now, but he is really starting to get racy. Tom 97 going to be looking for a move very, very soon. Is there a chance for him to try and fly past in towards turn 4 like we've seen him try many times already in this race? AMS Josh turning the battery off nice and early. It allows Tom 97 to close in, heading in towards these first few corners and crucially in towards turn 4 as well. The gap 0.4 of a second as they make their way through turn 2. It's already down by a tenth. A better run for Tom 97 as we get onto the power now. DRS opens up. Tom 97 not gaining just yet, and he will sit behind this time around, just biding his time. But the tension's starting to flare up a little bit. Here comes Garcia on Vettel further back as well. This is the battle for P5, although Ken Fisher and Kevin West, as it stands, would inherit the P5 and P6 as a result of the 3-second time penalties. for Garcia and Vettel, but they're going to be looking to try and pull away in the second half of this race. That is correct. We're now at half race distance here, and that's definitely going to spice things up for the drivers. Tom 97 once again sitting at about 0.4 of a second off the back of AMS Josh, and it's difficult to pass in these DRS trains. Unfortunately, one of the disadvantages of having a poor qualifying is you will struggle naturally in a train in the race. Let's see though, Josh getting close actually to the back of Indeciso. It's not Tom 97 making the move that we were expecting. He's backed off a little bit here, I think saving his battery up, had to deploy a lot in his attempts at pushing to try and make those moves. Unfortunately, not quite worked out, so it's going to be a bit of recharge, I think, for the Ferrari driver over these next few laps as he just tries to regroup his thoughts, get himself ready for those next few pushes. But AMS Josh maybe saving battery, saving tyres as well over these past few laps, getting himself ready for a push to try and get the track position ahead of Indeciso, although maybe that's not too favourable, because as we have seen, it's been pretty difficult for Tom 97 to try and make the moves in the race here. Let's see what can be done here tonight. Tom 97 closing in through Magulio, the gap under 0.4 of a second once again as we make our way through the final corner. Bit of a slide there from AMS Josh. That could give Tom 97 a bit of a run down towards turn 1, but I think still going to be a bit too far back, 0.3 of a second as they make their way through the DRS zone, and not going to get close enough for a move, but he'll keep himself in contention as they head down towards turn number 4. Josh going to pick up a big dose of dirty air as well. That might give Tom 97 a chance to get a better exit and maybe a better run down towards turn 4. 0.2 of a second off the back of the Haas driver. He's gaining towards turn 4, looking to the inside, but not close enough. Once again, Josh just has enough battery to cover it off. Ken Fisher further behind us there. Into the barriers goes Vettel, making a mistake through turn 3. Damage, I expect, to the front wing of his Aston Martin as well, but crucially, no safety car to come as a result. He can continue on, and yes, there is the damage to the front wing for the Aston Martin driver. Unfortunate turn of events, was running up in P5. Unfortunately now sent tumbling down the order, down to the back, and well and truly out of contention with a penalty, with damage, and I expect with a pit stop to come in just a moment as well. Once again, Tom 97 not too far off of AMS Josh, but the DRS train proving oh so crucial. Indeciso starting to catch up to the back of Rassenberg as well. Maybe still a chance that we could see this become a 4-car battle later on in the race. All it takes is one small mistake, and that could be seeing a big turn of events. 0.3 found on the last lap for Indeciso. Really shows maybe there was a mistake there for Nico Rassenberg. To regroup his thoughts, get himself back into that rhythm. Tom 97 looking to get back into the rhythm of attack within 0.2 of a second as we make our way through this middle sector now. Gaining in towards turn 8, looking to the inside as he's done many a time before. Josh not worried to go and defend that one too early. He knows Tom a little bit too far back, not going to be able to make that move stick without a lot of contact, so he can just sit behind and relax. No need to worry really. Through the middle sector once again, Indeciso gains 0.2 of a second on Nico Rassenberg, and gaining on the exit of the final corner as well. It's not going to be too much longer, I don't think, before we might see Rassenberg under some pressure. Tom 97 dropping a long way off, and into the pit lane comes AMS Josh. Are we seeing a potential 2-stop here to the end? Another set of tyres needed to get to the end of this race, or is the 1-stop possible? I mean, I'm not entirely sure, but I expect we could be seeing some pit stops to come from a couple more of the drivers, but that is a big relief for Tom 97, who now is freed of the DRS troubles, up into some clean air. AMS Josh, though, going to be out looking to push and looking to try and make an undercut work and find his way through, maybe up to the lead of this battle and into the lead of this race. It's going to be quite interesting if these drivers do have to abandon a 1-stop strategy later on. Tom 97 pushing to try and get himself back. within the DRS of Invasizo up in second place, making his way through Jun Sao at the moment. Let's see if he does manage to make that margin on the exit. It's not going to happen, unfortunately, for Tom 97. 1.1 seconds as they make their way through the detection point, and into the pits comes Rasenberg and Invasizo. Tom 97 continues on. Interesting decision from the Ferrari driver. He's got to be bold here in this race, though. Got to try and do something different if he wants this strategy to work out and try and come home with the championship. If he wins the race, he wins the championship. It doesn't matter what Rasenberg can do. If Tom 97 takes the checker flag first, it's his championship here in Season 22. Victor Garcia now in second as well. Rasenberg going to be coming out a little bit further behind, and crucially for Josh, he's through on Invasizo and into the DRS of Nico Rasenberg. That undercut proving very, very useful for the Haas driver. Found himself probably at least a second, maybe even gaining up towards a second and a half, maybe even 2 seconds. I'm not sure exactly what the gap was looking like. I'd probably say it's about 2 seconds that Josh has found as a result of the undercut almost. Tom 97 going to be in a bit of trouble unless he is planning to go a little bit longer, maybe give himself the fresher tyres for a better chance later on, or maybe even going to attempt a one-stop strategy here. It's definitely going to be a bold one if he does try and go for it. It would be 28 laps on the hard compound tyres. But you never know. Victor Garcia now into the pit lane as well to get himself off of these tyres. With the number of people into the pits, I expect the one stop not to be possible. But we could be seeing some big changes in the order. It's a 16-second, roughly, the gap between Tom 97 and Nico Rasenberg. Last time around, Josh gained 1.5 seconds. With 12 laps to go at 1.5 seconds a lap, they're definitely going to catch him. That's 18 seconds they would be gaining over the stint, and it's only going to get worse for Tom 97 as they make their way through this race. Definitely going to be a big talking point. Rasenberg half a second faster in the first sector alone on this current lap. That time really starting to drop away. But maybe Tom 97 planning to give himself a big offset here. And in fact, into the pit lane he comes now. So he has gone for exactly that, giving himself a nice offset in the hopes that he can use that tyre advantage later on to make the moves that he needs. Victor Garcia, interestingly, coming out on a set of medium tyres. It's hard compound tyres for Tom 97. But he will have 2 lap fresher tyres than Nico Rasenberg and Invasizo, and 3 lap fresher tyres than AMS Josh as well, in his hopes to try and make some more positions in these final laps. But he's first going to have to catch back up to the train, because look at the gap. He is a long way behind with just 12 laps of racing to the checkered flag. He's going to have to gain a lot of time and then make some positions as well. It's going to be a tough race here for Tom 97 if he wants to get himself back into contention. That's how the penalties look at the moment, but for the championship, all that matters really is the positions between Rasenberg and Tom 97. Could still be a chance for some time penalties to come into play as well, of course. You never know how many warnings a driver could be running within this race. A time penalty for Rasenberg could be detrimental, losing him multiple positions and maybe allowing Tom 97 through for a shot at the championship potentially. Going to be a tough one for sure as we continue on. Tom 97 does find time in that middle sector, but without DRS, losing out about a 1/10 of a second in sector 3 there. I don't think this is going to be an easy catch here for Tom 97, unfortunately. Rasenberg not going to be eager to drive slowly and allow him to catch back up either, because that's only really going to aid his rival here tonight. So we continue to make our way through lap 26 of 36 now. And AMS Josh only 0.6 of a second off, could still be in with a shot to try and fight for victory here tonight. Going to be leaving it late on if he wants to try and make the move. 3.8 now the gap for Tom 97 to this train as well. The gap coming down a little bit. He's pretty much back to where he was at the start of all of this. 5 seconds adrift from the cars in front, which I guess is unfortunate for him. But with the tyre offset, that's probably what he was hoping for. He could have pitted a bit earlier if he wanted to try and give himself a smaller margin to catch. I expect, though, he will be quite happy to have fresher tyres, especially towards the end of the race. But whether it's going to be enough or not, I think time will only tell. Victor Garcia on those medium tyres doing quite a nice job here as well. Pretty much matching the pace that we're seeing from Tom 97, who was about 0.3 of a second faster than our leaders on the previous lap. So he is definitely able to find a bit of pace. But whether he'll be able to continue that throughout these next few laps, going to be an entirely different story. Vettel picks up a 10-second penalty for speeding and retires from the race. So minimum of 4 points available to anybody who finishes one more DNF. And theoretically, there's a possibility that you could win the championship if you're Tom 97 if Rasenberg DNF'd, even if he was all the way down in the last place. 9-2 for Tom 97 on that lap. Again, finding time out there in that middle sector, half a second faster. Yellow flags out as Vettel's retired car makes its way out onto the track. But nothing coming as it stands for Tom 97. That gap still staying pretty constant, even though on the past few laps he's been able to pump the times in. He loses that time in Sector 1 and Sector 3. Able to gain it back in Sector 2, but it's only a couple of tenths a lap, and as it stands, it wouldn't even be enough, I don't think, to get himself onto the back of this train by the final lap of the race. So very much going to be hoping for something to stir up the pot here tonight for Tom 97. 3.5 seconds off the back now of Invasizo, starting to gain a bit more time, I think, Tom 97, but that gap going to continue to extend once again with the DRS in towards turn 1 and turn 4. I mean, it's already back to 3.8. Already lost so much time there just as a result of not having the DRS available to him. Rasenberg going to be sitting very happy, effectively pulling his 2 bodyguards along with him. Tom might be able to get himself into the podium positions here, but it would be as a result of a time penalty, not as a result of track position, I expect. Although this time around, once again, Tom making inroads. The gap now 3 seconds between Tom 97 and Invasizo. And as it stands, he is now within the penalty range of the V-Carb driver. Gained a lot of time on that previous lap. 0.8 of a second to Invasizo. Half a second to Nico Rasenberg. I think Tom's starting to find his rhythm now. Starting to find some pace out there as well. Maybe this is his time to start pushing. Maybe he's been saving some tyres for the past 2 laps. Just betting himself into the stint for a last dash to the finish in these final few laps. Last time around, he was almost a second faster than Invasizo. Going to be a crucial few laps here for the Ferrari driver, and Josh getting close to Rasenberg as well. Less than half a second. He's going to keep applying that pressure to the McLaren driver. They're going to be pushing and wearing their tyres away, all the while Tom can slowly but surely reel them in. And that gap, once again, falling as they make their way through the middle sector. 2.8 currently, 2.7 as we make our way through Bico de Pato, 2.6. Tom is definitely starting to put his foot down a bit more. He knows there is still a chance here to fight back in the dying stages of this race, but whether he'll be able to make the overtakes, I think, is going to be a completely different story. Josh looking to try and fight for his first win of the season. That might be the motivating factor, really, I think, for Josh to try and fight this one out on the final lap, and maybe it could cause a bit of chaos to help Tom 97. You never know what could be coming. The gap between Tom 97 and Rasenberg, 3.8 as it stands. Clock is ticking down though. Only 6 laps of racing left to go. If Tom were to catch at about 0.6 of a second a lap, which he wasn't even able to do last time around, but was able to do on the lap before that, if he were to catch at 0.6 a lap, he'd only give himself about a lap to make all of the overtakes. It's not really looking amazing for the Ferrari driver at the moment. Unfortunately, looks like he's just going to run out of laps here tonight, but continuing to push on nonetheless. Ken Fisher still within the time penalty range of Victor Garcia, and as the mediums start to wear away, he might give himself a bit of a tyre advantage to try and gain some time back and keep himself securely in that P5 position. Kevin West also going to be looking to try and gain a position in these final few laps, not only just on Ken Fisher potentially, but also on Garcia with that time penalty. AMS just dropping away now a bit from Rasenberg. Maybe Rasenberg been saving tyres here to try and push on the final few laps, try and break away from the DRS, not even give a chance for any battles to occur. 0.9 of a second the gap as they make their way through turn number 9 into Uzbeko de Pato. 0.7 of a second, 0.6 of a second, Josh clawing that gap back in. But all looking pretty much perfect for Nico Rasenberg as the laps count themselves down. Lap 33 of 36 coming now. 4 laps left of WR Tier 4 in Season 22. 4 laps left to see if we will be crowning Nico Rasenberg as our Season 22 Drivers' Champion. Josh getting closer here on this lap. He'll be remembering that previous lap where he almost got dropped out of the DRS. Not able to make the move. Invasizo right on the back now. Has got that time penalty though, but not going to be able to make that move stick. Josh will not want a car with a penalty in between himself and a potential race victory. Maybe Invasizo going to be thinking there's a chance to get his penalty removed later on in the steward's room as well. Maybe he got forced off earlier earlier on in the race and we missed it potentially. I'm not too sure. Nonetheless, he'll still be trying to push for the best possible position on the track as well. Tom 97 now 2 seconds off the back. 1 more second and he'll be within the DRS range of the cars in front. But with just 3 laps of racing left to go and 3 overtakes needed if he wants to win this championship, has he left it a little bit too late to make this one happen? Still, potential opportunities could come in this race. Let's see. As we make our way through the first few corners, AMS Josh still about 0.4 of a second off the back of Rasenberg. He will be saving everything for that final lap dash towards that line to try and make this one work. Invasizo once again getting close to the back of the Haas. No chance at an overtake there though. Continuing on his way. From 97 now, 1.9 seconds, 1.8 seconds, 1.7 seconds, really starting to push, really starting to use those tyres. That time is rapidly coming down, 1.5 seconds now the gap, but we're very soon headed towards the penultimate lap, and he's going to need to be making moves very, very quickly if he wants any dying hopes at a chance to fight Rasenberg on the final lap of this race. He needs to score 4 more points than Rasenberg as well. P2 versus P3 wouldn't be enough. It's going to be very, very tough. It's going to take a miracle, I think, if Tom 97 does want to do this. Pretty much going to require Tom 97 to pick up victory if this is to come true here tonight. We're starting the penultimate lap of the race, and Tom 97 is under 1 second off the back of Invasizo. Things are really starting to come to a climax. AMS Josh close to the back of Rasenberg as well. Will he think about a move here in towards turn 4? Gaining on the back of the McLaren, but not going to go for it this time around. Biding his time for that final lap of the race. His sights surely set on a potential race victory. Rasenberg knows he won't have to fight this one too hard. He can still win the championship from second place, but he will of course want to come home with a victory here tonight. Tom 97 closing in still on the back of these cars, but now in the dirty air we'll start to struggle a little bit more in this middle sector, and time very much running out. It's going to take very much a last lap miracle if the championship is to come true for Tom 97 here tonight. Smith picks up a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting further behind. We make our way through the final corner now to start the final lap of Season 22. WOR Tier 4 Championships will be decided in the next few kilometers. In towards the first corner we go. Here comes Invasizo looking to the inside, not close enough for a move. AMS Josh setting his sights on a potential victory here to round out the season. He's 0.4 of a second off the back of Rasenberg as it stands. I don't think the move is going to be coming down towards turn 4. It's going to take a big run to the line, and Tom 97 now over a second off the back of these guys, I think has pretty much seen that fate has been decided here tonight. It's not going to be possible unless there's a mistake from Rasenberg on this final lap of the race. AMS Josh still going to be looking to try and make a run to the line. Invasizo as well. Maybe going to be hoping for a mistake from Tom to hang on for a podium finish here tonight. But time very much running out. But that is exactly what Rasenberg is going to want. He's now 0.7 of a second clear, now half a second. Bit of a jump there on the exit of the corner. Only one corner left, one exit left, one run up towards the line to decide this championship, and it will be heading the way of the McLaren driver of Nico Rasenberg. He will take victory here in Sao Paulo, and we will take the championship in Season 22. WOR Tier 4, Rasenberg is your driver's champion. AMS Josh comes home with a best finish of P2 in the season. Tom 97 manages to recover to P3, but in the end it's not enough to challenge the German. It's championship glory for Nico Rasenberg and for McLaren. They've done the double here in Season 22. Invasizo P4, Ken Fisher coming home in P5. Strong recovery from him. But all focus gonna be on that covetous Drivers' Championship, headed the way of Nico Rasenberg. What a finish to the season. What a race as well. It looked like he had it secured even from lap 1. Pulled such a margin, managed to hang on to it for quite a while. They fought back, but nobody able to challenge him in the end. Barring strategy, I believe it's pretty much every single lap led of the race, every racing lap led. Or almost every single lap. I'm not sure, I can't remember exactly right back to the start of the race, but utterly dominant drive from Nico Rasenberg to take the title here. It's Rasenberg with the title, with the victory. AMS Josh in second, Tom 97 in third, Invasizo in fourth, Ken Fisher P5, Kevin West coming home in P6, Victor Garcia in seventh, Myth in eighth, and then the DNF. For Vettel, no points scored for him. What a way to round out this season. And now I will have a quick look to see if we can get some interviews. Well. Let me get everything back to where I need it. Find the right button. There we go. What a way to round out this season. Technically, didn't know until right at the end there, although it looked pretty secured for Rasenberg. Tom managed to catch up right at the end and bring himself back into contention in those final few laps of the race. And I think we will definitely be having a chat with our Drivers' Champion in just a few moments as well. But yeah, what a way to round things out here. Let's see. Just waiting for the drivers to hop in. Yeah, so P1 for Rasenberg, P3 for Tom. So it's 14 points in the end, the margin. And we will have a chat now with Nico as well. Hello, Nico. Well, race victory, and you know what that means. It's Drivers' Championship here in Season 22. How are you feeling right now? Yeah, so of course starting out in those wet conditions must have been quite a tricky one. I mean, we saw quite a lot of chaos behind you, which allowed you to pull quite a bit of a margin. That transition to the dry tyres, how worried were you about that, trying to get that lap perfect? Because of course, if you go a little bit too early, you could end up looking at several seconds lost. Yep, and then the second pit stop, again, timing that pretty much perfectly. Was there any chance that the tyres might have been able to go to the end, or is the tyre wear just too high here? Yep, and yeah, any more thoughts on the championship? I mean, it's an incredible achievement, 3 wins this season as well. You must be really proud of yourself. Yeah, well, congratulations, Nico. Head off and celebrate when you're ready. Have a great one, and yeah, congratulations on the title. No problem. No problem. Right. All right. Well, let's have a chat with our second place driver. Hello, Josh. Can you hear me? So, P2 here. I believe your first visit to the podium in WOR Tier 4. A very interesting race, I think, from your side. Having quite a lot of battles out there, having to defend a lot from varying drivers. How are you feeling after that one? Yeah, so strategy-wise, you did, I think, the exact same strategy as Nico, if I remember correctly. Yeah, so the transition from the intermediates to the dries, was that anything you were worried about, or did that feel like the right timing for that one? Yep, and having to defend from Tom as well as he was charging down to try and catch up to Nico, was that difficult at all, or were you just kind of focused on the fight ahead? Yep, and I mean overall coming home P2 must be very happy with that one. The undercut as well, was that exactly planned, exactly what you wanted to do to try and get the track position there? Were you hoping maybe you could have fought for the win? Yep. Any final thoughts from you? No worries at all. Of course, you're entitled to have your own race as well. And yeah, congratulations on the P2 there as well. And I will let you head off now and go and celebrate. No. And last but not least, hello Tom. So firstly, want to say commiserations on the championship, just slipping out of your grasp there at the end. How were you feeling coming into this one? Were you feeling very confident, or were you feeling maybe you were lacking a bit of practice potentially? Yeah, I think you were the first driver to jump onto the slick tyres after the rain ended. Was that a decision you were maybe a bit worried about? Were you just looking to try and gain some positions in the tricky conditions? Yep, and then the second pit stop onto that second set of the hard tyres, you stayed out quite a bit longer than the rest of the drivers, and then only catching up on the penultimate lap of the race. Do you think maybe it would have been better to pit earlier and try and stay with the pack, give yourself more chances for some overtakes? Yeah, did you think there was any possibility of going to the end on that initial set of hard tyres, or was the tyre wear just a bit too high for that? Yeah. Yeah, and in the end, championship not quite going your way. 14 points behind Nico in the end. P2 though in the championship, so still looking very promising. Any closing thoughts on that? All right, well, congratulations on the podium here tonight. Unfortunately, not quite the title that you were hoping for, but yeah, best of luck if we do have a next season. All right, well, that is going to wrap things up here then. As Tom just said, big congratulations to our champion, Nico, coming away with the title in the end. Yeah, massive congratulations to him. Season 22 Tier 4 champion here. I'm not exactly sure what the situation is with regarding next season. I don't know how many tiers are going to be running, but hopefully I will be able to join you next season as well. We have got Tier 2 going on as we speak. The checker flag has just come out in qualifying. So yeah, feel free to head over, jump over there, see how things are going. Hopefully a good race to come over there. But thank you for joining us here for our Season 22 season finale, and I will see you